How are you there? Let us talk about dictators and dictatorial tendencies. Dictators will always want what they want, and if they don't get their way, they will figure out a way of breaking the law, even doing things that are unconstitutional because they want what they want. Our dictator in chief, President Idi Mnangagwa, wants to be a lifetime president. You see, when you're looking at Zimbabwean politics and other things that are going on, you must understand one thing fundamental. What is the fundamental aim of Idi Mnangagwa? Is to be a lifetime president. So every time you're checking what's happening with Songezo, Triple C, ZANU PF, just know one thing. Idi Mnangagwa wants to be lifetime president. In all the happenings, all the roads are leading to Idi Mnangagwa's lifetime presidency. Do you understand? So when we see Songezo Chabang, okay, Songezo Chabang is a weapon of choice. Okay. Whether Songezo Chabang is known by Triple C or not is not the point. I suspect obviously Chamisa knows him. He might not have been Secretary General, but they know each other. Which I think is a mistake that Chamisa made by saying I do not know Chabang. He should have just fully declared where he knows him from and the extent to which he's affiliated to the Triple C. I wouldn't say that Chabang has got zero, absolutely zero affiliation with Triple C. He has some affiliations. But did he have even the power to do what he did? No. Because Nelson Chamisa is the president. You could have stopped it at any time. But nonetheless, Idi Mnangagwa used his weapon of choice. And by using Chabangu, Idi Mnangagwa now had an insider in the Triple C who would carry out Idi Mnangagwa's wishes inside Triple C. And that insider, acting on behalf of Triple C, would go to Parliament and recall MPs because Parliament will support that insider because the insider is empowered by Idi Mnangagwa. Okay, if you think I'm lying, you go try it. Write to the Parliament of Zimbabwe, tell them that you are the new Secretary General and you want to recall so and so and so and so and so. Or say you are the Secretary General or you are something in ZANU PF, you want to recall ZANU PF MPs. It's not going to happen. You won't succeed because you are not the weapon of choice that Idi Mnangagwa is using. So a lot of people keep on blaming Songezo Chabang. There is no person in Zimbabwe who has got the power and authority to do what Songezo Chabang does, except that he is given that authority. All right. As a Christian, I know when we cast out demons, the demons will not go out because I said demon go. It goes because of the authority that God gave us. So if the demon gets out, it's not because of the prophet, it's because of God. It's the power of God, it's the willingness of God. So as Chabangu is recalling people, it's not because of Chabangu. It's because of the authority and power of Idi Mnangagwa. And for what purposes? For the purposes of finally becoming a lifetime president via changing the constitution and via having this two-thirds majority that is ZANU PF. Or if it's not ZANU PF, he has to beat Triple C so much into submission. Triple C MPs now are living under fear of a recall should they be acting against Idi Mnangagwa's will. This is the subliminal message that Idi Mnangagwa is sending to the Triple C MPs. He's saying, you must make sure that I get to change that constitution. I will change that constitution. Remember, I gave you 50,000 before the elections. Each of you MPs and all of you and some people in the judiciary. And therefore, I do not want people to ask many questions. If you are not in line with me, I will recall you. I will use Chabang. If you do not understand that, I will even cause so much confusion in Nelson Chamisa's head, take him back and forth to court system until he might, like now, Chamisa is thinking of, I hear rumors that he might start a new party. So even if we start a new party, what will stop Edim Nangagwa from doing the same thing that he's doing in this party? But all of that confusion, Mnangagwa is hitting you guys with different weapons. But all of those weapons that Mnangagwa is using are just for one hope. He's hoping that he can beat Triple C MPs into submission. And submitting to what? Submitting to his will, which is to subvert the constitution, possibly change the legalities concerning presidential term limits. Whatever evidence or reason that Nangagwa is going to give to change the constitution, he wants to be at a time when both ZANU PF MPs and Triple C MPs are going to willingly accept that decision. He doesn't. But you see, in a country like Zimbabwe, which is very much polarized and doesn't want Idim Nangago, it will be difficult for Triple C MPs to publicly support that kind of a change in the constitution. So one way that Nangago has to do it is he has to put uh, ZANU PF MPs, because ZANU PF MPs do not mind doing that. ZANU PF and propaganda and lying, they lie with a straight face, and like ZANU-PF lies and tells you that the sky is yellow or whatever. They can tell you the sky is green when everyone can say it's blue. But the Triple C MPs have got this moral uh, fear, not moral standards. They're just human beings. I don't see any difference between Triple C MPs and ZANU-PF MPs. It's just that they have got this moral obligation from the people that support the Triple C and Nelson Chamisa, not to fall in line with Idim Nangagwa's line of thought. But should Idim Nangagwa fail to get the two-thirds majority through ZANU-PF, you will hope that those that are still in Triple C will support him. And they will support him because they fear his rod and his wrath. So what you're experiencing in Zimbabwe is the wrath and the rod of Idim Nangago on Triple C, the bullying and the raping. It's like a rape case. This is a rape case. He's raping a political party. He's raping them to submission, to tell them that Dini King, I'm gonna do as you are going to do what I want you to do. If you don't, I'm going to abuse you this way. So the Triple C MPs have got no choice but to beg Songezo not to recall them. And then Songezo said to them, okay, it's fine. I won't recall you. How about this proposal? We are going to change the constitution. You are going to vote that we remove presidential term limits, and then we won't recall you. Picture this: you're a Triple C MP, and this is your source of income. Zimbabwe's economic situation is dire. You're given a nice car, you're given a stature in the neighborhood. Or MP manje, you're like something important. And then, but you have to make a deal with the devil that you allow the constitution to change, or else we will recall you. And recalls cannot stop, and recalls can take any shape or form. Recalls are not limited to the use of Songezo Chabang. He's just a weapon of choice right now that Nangagwa is using. Already, another weapon he's using is the complete destruction of the Triple C as a political party. Therefore, if he pushes Nelson Chamisa mentally to actually recalling all of his MPs, I mean, he might take Chamisa to that mental position where he thinks it's best to recall all Triple C MPs from Parliament, and thereby filling the whole Parliament with ZANU PF MPs, and Itim Nangagwa will still achieve his goal of changing the constitution for the sake of creating a lifetime presidency for him. That is the end game of Itim Nangagwa. All right. So all of these songs which are talking about imposters, candidates, Chamisa, tribalism, don't, all of it is just it's a lie. It's a side shows. Even if Songezo might have some key points there and there, he will pick on Chamisa's weaknesses here and there and use them. but for all intents and purposes, the whole idea is to maintain Itim Mnangagwa's lifetime presidency, because the looting class needs it to be a lifetime president, so that the looting class will continue looting until Jesus comes. So they will find a successor themselves, the looting class. After 8 years died and gone to the next life, they will find another successor or strategy. So as I always say, when you're looking at Itim Nangago, don't look at the guy. Look at the group of people that put him into power, that maintain him in power, because it's just one person. But the presidency is not just one person. It is the people, it is the support system around him, the support structure, which is largely the Zimbabwe military, because we're a military state. So the generals in the military who are abusing their office, instead of protecting the rights and the wealth of the Zimbabweans, they have participated and or are partaking in this a massive looting with Itim Nangago, in together with the top ZANU-PF officials who are in the loot, and the top businessmen who are affiliated with Itim Nangago, who are also in the loot. Who they own the media, they control the CIO, they control the police, the military, they control even our social media. Some of your social media personnel that you like are actually double agents. Some of them might speak as if they support Triple C, support Chamisa, but they also they support Chamisa in the afternoon, but at night they go and sleep with the intentions of the generals, and come and have and sway the public. They just nudge you towards where the elite wants you to be. The elite doesn't always have to have a social media personality supporting ZANU-PF. No, the elite created social media personalities who appear to be against ZANU-PF, but you will see in their against ZANU-PF, it's a staged way of opposing. All right, it's a stage way of opposing, of controlling the opposition narrative. So, because if you are an elite in Harare, your objective is to control the opposition, where it could go and how far it should go. You want to allow the opposition to be there, but you don't want it to achieve its end, its main goal of removing ZANU-PF from power. But you want it to be there so that they can uh, help with tempering the demands of the populace. The populace want to change, but so the populace won't be watching your YouTube channels and following your Twitter accounts if you are pro ZANU. The populace will want to have the the guys who support Nelson Chamisa criticizing Itim Nangagwa. But those guys will once in a while throw in a few things that the military and ZANU-PF needs people to know, or for example, they will say, no, we must not go to the streets. People are going to die. Hey, who told you that? Who told you that if people say enough is enough, we all go to the streets, Itim Naga will go out of power. He will go out of power. But you will see that this so-called triple C uh, social media hosts, they will always be against a few things. They will be against going to the streets. Going to the streets is a people's constitutional right. People have got the right to do it all. All right. We have seen what happened in what's that country next to India? In in Sri Lanka, the president was fired because of public protest. We saw what happened in Brazil last year. We saw the Durban protests in South Africa. So the same thing can happen to Zimbabwe. But the so-called Triple C supporters will be the ones who do not want that at all, and they will always come up with the reasons why Chamisa is a peaceful guy who doesn't want to harm anyone, to hate anyone. You see, after they have been against ZANU-PF, then they'll say, no, we cannot do anything about that. It's because ZANU-PF wants them to oppose ZANU-PF, but at the same time, opposing so that they can get public sympathy in that, oh, these people are against the elite just like us. but not to the extent of actually okaying the real final thing that citizens have to do in order to acclaim true and outright victory. It is that match point that they do not want. They want you to play a tennis match, best of three sets. You win the first set 6-3. You go to the next set, you are leading 6-5, and you are saving to win 7-5, and you are leading 40 love. For all of a sudden you start losing points. You have got three match points, but you lose. You lose all three of them. You lose the game. You go to the tie break. You get close. You get close. You get 4 or 5 match points in the tie break. You lose again. You go to the last set. You get there to a match point. You lose. That's what they want. Just always getting close, but never quite getting there. See, Zanupia is. I mean, Zimbabweans now have to be educated enough to understand that. So don't trust anyone. I don't need to tell you, Zimbabwean, that do not trust anyone. Not everyone who claims to be your friend is your friend. So not everyone who says they are triple C is actually triple C. The Godfather himself, he said it. He said that I created all of these systems. Which systems do you think was wrong about? ZANU-PF systems only? No, including opposition systems, including systems of social media, including systems of accountability, like in the court system. And he has got his people planted everywhere, and he has got his eyes planted everywhere, so that you do not farisa. Anogona kuti iwe mfana usafarise, ndakakutarisa kuti uri kuita chii, uri kundiopoza zviripo chiopoza aiswe vamwe, but usaibati. But aizvimwe idai kuti idetector, itai kuti ZANU-PF inopa mari, handina basa nezvayo, but iyi yekuti vanhu vaite izvi, I don't want it. So you see, he has got things that he will allow you to do as a dictator, but then he has got certain things that he knows themselves that should not be done by anyone, and therefore that's what the security setups that he spoke about when he says ndini ndakasetha ma-security systems. Nobody, you cannot plan against me. As I said, you are gonna plan against Mnangagwa with who? Triple C. That's his boys. So it's a waste of time. You're gonna plan way on Gampakwe Media. That's his boy. You're wasting your time. With who? With who? And there's a lot of them that I've picked up in a lot of these so-called Triple C social media content creators. Not all of them as ZANU-PF, but I've picked up on some of them that I've seen that they are double agents. They might not be 100% ZANU-PF. They might actually, maybe even in their heart, really like Triple C. But as I say, that they are Triple C in the afternoon, but they are ZANU-PF in the night. They go spend a night with ZANU-PF. In the morning, they wash and they come out smiling, looking like a pretty innocent girl, but in reality they are double agents playing the Zimbabwe with the Zimbabweans' minds, so that you would think that there is hope, but there is no hope coming from them. They are not the agents that are going to bring change, but they are the agents that want to present themselves as agents of change. But in reality, they want you Zimbabweans who really are hurtful to this government to not to do anything and look unto them to do something about it. And they will look as if like they are about to do something, but as they get there to where we're supposed to really, really, really do that deed, that thing happens. It's like a girl that you buy beer the whole day in the club. You meet her, she's by a savannah, she gets drunk. And then when it's night time and you want to go home, don't ask me, don't look at me like that. What kind of a churchman speaks like that? Please, I'm not always in church every Sunday. Okay, sometimes I've been to other places. You buy the girl beer the whole night. And then when it's time to do that deed, you're like, oh, my mother just called me and said my daughter is crying. Daughter is sick. That is your that's a mentality from your agents there. Okay. I don't know if you're a brother. I mean you should have come up with that situation. Okay. The whole day uchitengera baby doro. At 12 o'clock, power vhara ndekumba. Phone yake yobva yaringa, it's her mother. If a mother now, the child at home is sick, or the child is crying, she must come and breastfeed. So hapana dear, but you spend all the time, all your money is gone. So that is the nature of the security system that Itim Nanga was talking about. He has got the Triple C captured. One thing that I've seen it is doing sneakingly through Songo's Chabang is to try to expose some weaknesses of Chamisa that the public did not know about in a way of intimidating Chamisa. For example, Chabang would say that uh, Chamisa is captured. There is people around Chamisa who who've captured him, who control Chamisa, blah 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 blah. Uh, I've always known that Chamisa is captured. Not that Chamisa doesn't want to bring a change, but that I have always known that there's people around Chamisa that are up to no good. Last year I did a prophetic video when God said, "Tell these people around Chamisa, these these people, these controlling interests around Chamisa. These are actually the Harare interests around Chamisa. So they are very much controlling, such that Chamisa is not himself, and therefore he is his space to move is very small. That is where I get to to stop blaming Chamisa even for his own weaknesses, because I understand that he's in a boxed in a place where these people that are controlling him might not necessarily be 100% pro ED. They might be ED's friends, but might also be other group of elites fighting with other elites, and therefore eating Nangako might not like those elites, and therefore we want to expose them a little bit and try to fight them via Swengers Chabak. So this is a multi-pronged uh, attack. Is a whip that has got its own blades in it. So we see it in Nangagwa. He is fighting that elite, that ZANU PF elite that is surrounded itself surrounding Chamisa. I mean, come to think about it, why is Chamisa not arrested, not dead, not any, just not being touched? Who's protecting him? Who do we think is protecting this one, Chamisa? It is in Harare. I mean, take a look at other opposition political leaders around the world that really contest their leaders. Some of them are not even allowed in their country. They speak from outside the countries. But Chamisa is in Harare, he's making money, his life is fine. Why is it that so? Who's protecting him? Interest. So it is about interest. All right. So it's not really about the truth that he's opposing. It's about interest. And he is used by the interest to be the face of the opposition, the face that the public trusts. And he might want change. Him Chamisa, he might actually, I do not know what is in his heart. He might genuinely want change, but the interests in Harare will not allow that interest to happen, that change to happen. And if the change would happen, the interests around Nelson Chamisa need to be sure that their interests are taken care of. And in that way, they might use Chamisa as a weapon against Itim Nangakwa, and that will elicit a rebuttal from Idim Nangwako, who might want to fight off those Chamisa's interests using Sonkezo Chaba. So it may not only just be about getting to the two-thirds majority, but it's actually be the elites of Mnangagwa fighting the elites surrounding Neswan Chamisa, which might be two sets that very much intersect largely. But to say that Chamisa is independently seeking for change, being, leading a force of disenfranchised Zimbabweans without input of Harare elite is a lie. Chamisa is an agent of these Harare elites, whoever they are, whatever their interests are. But their interests are really in securing the state, whether that they are securing it through Emerson Mnangagwa or via their second option, which is Nelson Chamisa. So they need Nelson Chamisa in a certain position. So they need Nelson Chamisa to be free and safe. They don't want him in jail. They don't want him to die because they want him to be alive. They want him to oppose Itim Nangagwa. Itim Nangagwa needs Chamisa to oppose him. He needs the Triple C to be alive. He needs people to vote for the Triple C, and he needs the Triple C to have some parliamentary seats, but he also needs to control them. So the problem with ET and his dictatorial tendencies is that he's a control freak. As a control freak, he fails to put the limit of how far he can go in controlling Triple C. He just gets to the whole situation is messy. The way that he handled Triple C, it's a messy situation. If I was his advisor and I was a Harare elite and I was interested in maintaining power through ET, I would have not advised him to use that weapon of saying it's a rather careless. It's a careless use of power or careless weapon. Uh, because it just blatantly says, okay, it exposes him as a dictator, and and it undermines that which he's supposed to protect, which is our constitutional democracy. It it therefore works against the idea that we have got a constitutional democracy, which means that we don't have, which means it captured the courts, captured everything. So he, even the whole ZEC is captured by ET. So we know in other countries it might be the same, but they do not. They're good at they're good at hiding it. All right. In other countries, if the president loses the election, he goes away. The one who wins the election who becomes president. But the special interests do not go away. They remain the same. Take a look at the United States. It doesn't matter whether the president is Donald Trump or is Joe Biden. The US interests will always be there. They're not going to be voted out of power because their power does not rely on elections. You see, that's where Itim Nangagwa and his friends and the elite in Harare, I think they get it wrong. Because if you have got interest in maintaining power or some kind of hegemony over some people in Zimbabwe, over some industries, your strategy shouldn't be about mm, securing a political position through one person. Your strategy at least should include both Idim Nangagwa and Chamisa. Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with Chamisa being backed by Harare special interests. It's okay. There's no way in which he was going to be popular without being supported by people who own newspapers, being supported by people who are big business people in Harare. I also want to be a politician in Zimbabwe. I would listen to the interests in Harare. I would listen to the interests, even the very same CIOs and the very same soldiers that I want to fire. I would listen to them. I will take their money in my campaign, or political campaign. I would, I will sell my idea or my ideology for Zimbabwe to them, right? And then I will be an opposition leader, and I will oppose some of their policies and oppose Itim Nangagwa. I mean, I will take Itim Nangagwa's money if he says yes, money. That opposition, I will take that money, and I will help you understand how that works. Because it's that thing, the political system it serves one purpose to maintain peace and order and prosperity in the country. So prosperity is good for everyone. Everyone in Harare needs the country to prosper. Whether that prosperity comes through Idim Nangagwa or through Nelson Chamisa, it doesn't really matter who's president. So, so the way that they structured their system in Harare is very weak. The weakness is that it only relies on ZANU. Only ZANU PF must be in power, and now only ED must be president for life. So that ideology itself is very wrong on so many levels, such that it cannot be maintained and at the same time keep peace and order in the country. To maintain peace and order in the country, you need to go for elections. If Chamisa wins the elections, let him become president. After all, the same interests behind Idi Mnangagwa are the same interests behind Nelson Chamisa. Why would they want Nelson not to be president? Do you get it? What is it that Nelson will do if he is president that Idi Mnangagwa is not doing? But in any case, if the interests in Harare, who run the country through Mnangagwa, are running the country down to the abyss, what makes you think that if they're running the country through Emerson, through Nelson Chamisa, they will transform the country? They wouldn't. So that is why I'm saying ZANU-PF or Triple C doesn't really mean Zimbabwe will change. Even if Chamisa was president tomorrow, there will be some ceremonial differences, some kind of change, because the change of government, there will be new people. But what makes you think that those new people are going to overcome the interests that are already there, who have been imposing their agenda, whatever their agenda is, which really include looting the resources and also uh, looting the coffers of government, really. Right. So Triple C isn't exactly a party that has done well in local governance and fighting corruption. So what makes you think that as a national party they will do better than ZANU-PF? Perhaps they will, but I am not convinced. I am not convinced that they will. But I'm convicted that the change needs to come from the elite in Harare. The elite themselves need to come to a conscious recognition for a need for change in the way that they run their business and how they set up their structure of dominance in the country without actually having to bring the economy down. There's a way of doing it. There's a way of keeping the elite in Harare rich and satisfied and prosperous without bringing the economy down, without destroying the social fabric of the country. The rule of law is there's a reason why even the United States itself respects the rule of law, the Bill of Rights, human rights. All of those things are essential ingredients for even the maintenance of power and dominance by the elite. But our elites do not understand that if they work in this cheap kind of power grabbing, it, they are going to crash. It's like a car that is just like traveling at a extremely high speed. At some corner somewhere, it will crash. Okay, it will crash and it will never move. So the end game for all of this, that Idi Mnangagwa and the whole Harare elite, they are going to crash, all of them. They're going to crash because they are not adapting. They're refusing to adapt to change. Change is going to come. Change will come not because the Harare elites wake up in the morning wanting change. Change will come because the world itself is always changing. Because some changes that have got nothing to do with Zimbabwe, some global changes, might force Zimbabwe to align itself with certain global agendas that maybe ZANU-PF is not in line with or is not ready for. And because ZANU-PF is not ready with those global forces, then ZANU-PF will end up being forced out, and the elite of Harare being forced to be destroyed, essentially. So the choice is on the elite to make a decision that they really do want change. And if they want change, then in that day, Nelson Chamisa can become president and he can be allowed to build the country the way that the citizens want him to build the country. And he needs to grow some balls and get the hell out of the control of this elite. He is the one who has got the people, not the dumb elites and their money. The Bible says you must make a decision. You want to worship God or you want to worship Mammoth, which is money. If you worship God, you will not care about the money of the elite. Whether they give you money or they don't give you money, you must do what God says. As for me, I will take the money from the elite in Harare and run a political campaign. But just because I take your money doesn't mean that I'm going to bend to your will. I'm going to build the nation for the glory of Jehovah with your money. All is that, Lord. Have a great afternoon.